Hello Sorcerer-goons, my name is Alex and welcome back to my Ben 10 Reboot concept. New year, new video, and this gets priority. So for those who don't know, I did 3 videos about a reboot concept for Ben 10, all because I don't like what Cartoon Network gave us. I did make a poll a while ago asking you guys if I should redo some of the art, and most of you, out of the 9 who voted, said yes. However, looking back at the poll, I could have worded it a little better. Essentially, I don't like the proportions or poses for a lot of these boys. That's what I wanted to redo, not the playlist itself. And redoing the art is what I'm doing today. I'll also be going over the powers and weaknesses in case you don't want to watch the older videos, and good stories are worth retelling. That said, it's hero time! First up is a second attempt at one of my personal favorites, Diamond Head. My intent with Diamond Head was to make him a versatile tank with the classic series Ben 10,000 costume as a basis. Unfortunately, he looked a little too thin, and to be honest, I still think he looks skinny. I tried to make his chest very broad, but I think the arms and head overtook it. Also, I tried taking some influence from other versions. Now, hear me out. I'm not a fan of the official reboot, and you won't catch me saying Omniverse is God's gift to the franchise. But for Diamond Head, I like his proportions in the latter. It encapsulated what I feel the alien is. I also took the reboot's promo art and tried copying it. It didn't work. You'd also see me screw around for a while with the hands and the color. I decided to make the colors my own this time. Moving on to abilities, Diamond Head can manipulate parts of his body into bladed weapons, like a sword or even an axe. He can also shoot shards of crystal from his arms like machine guns. Additionally, Diamond Head can manifest crystals from the ground. Due to his crystalline body, Diamond Head can also reflect most energy-based attacks, almost like light off of a mirror, and he's resistant to heat and fire. Now, because crystals are one of the hardest materials on the planet, he can take quite a lot of punishment. And to bring up the tank comparison from earlier, he's kinda slow, often relying on other means of ground transportation. Now, there is a limit to how much damage he can take before the crystals start to shatter. Like, if augmented Vilgax used like 20% of his strength, his arms would reach critical condition, as in they would crack but not fall apart. However, you don't always need brute force. Diamond Head's body is highly susceptible to ultra vibrations, like a sonic cannon for example. He can try to resist it, but the pain will eventually get to him and pass out. That said, here's my second attempt at a rebooted Diamond Head. Sprinting for the silver medal is the quick-footed feline Flash knockoff, Fast Track. To recap why I chose him, both he and Accelerate serve the same purpose, and share the same strengths and weaknesses. I just wanted this hypothetical series to be the spotlight Fast Track deserves. I mean, come on, his own debut series didn't use him all that much. Meanwhile, this Dromaeosaur looking dude is swimming in it. For my design, I gave him a one-piece suit that somewhat resembled a tracksuit. It looked fine, but his body kinda throws me off. Aside from the Flash-inspired pose, he doesn't read as a speedster, you know? I also gave him a retractable visor, which I think is still a good idea. I just could have done better. This time around, I'm making him a little thinner, but the only puffy bits are the fur outside of the suit. Think of dogs with large fur coats wearing sweaters. I also tried to incorporate some more feline elements, specifically a cheetah. This mainly shows in the legs, feet, and face. Another thing I wanted to add was claws, but thought they didn't look right. Though I'm saying that they're retractable, like an ordinary cat. Oh, and the visor is retooled a little. As part of the costume, he now has a helmet that I modeled after cyclist helmets. The visor is also retractable from the top. The idea behind the visor was to protect his eyes while running. Fast Track's abilities include super speed, OBS, enhanced biology, stamina, strength, durability, you get the idea. Now in this series, he's so fast he can run on water and create tornadoes. He can even move fast enough to dodge laser fire and perceive time slower than ordinary people. In terms of weaknesses, he mainly has problems stopping while moving too fast. A smart enough opponent can take advantage of his speed, using slippery surfaces to kill all traction, or a sticky trap like honey or tar to keep him in place. Again, these are the same weaknesses as Accelerate, just minus a tail that someone can grab. Also, touching on durability again, Fax Track's a glass cannon compared to the rest of the aliens. If an enemy gets one good blow in, he's boned. With all this in mind, I present to you my second take on a rebooted Fast Track. Rising up from the deep is a crustaceous bottom feeder, Water Hazard. Water Hazard was my favorite alien out of the Andromeda 5 from Ultimate Alien. The reason I gave Ben this alien, aside from personal preference, is to give him a water alien that isn't completely helpless out of water. I can still hear the comments saying, "Why didn't you just use Overflow if they have the same powers?" I just love Water Hazard's design more, and not much would change if I did, so does it really matter? Anyway, to avoid making it seem like Ben has an OP playlist off the bat, I'm making the drawback to using Water Hazard clear early. He's susceptible to being knocked out with enough force, is vulnerable to electricity, and is slower on land than in the water, which makes sense given his top-heavy frame. Speaking of, I wanted to rework the arms because of how plain and sloppy they looked. So I've been coming around to the Omniverse design a bit. It's more visually striking in the upper bodies, so I caved and chose to take the head and lower body of the UAF design, as well as the upper body, chest details, and shoulders of Omniverse. What I did not do was incorporate the barnacles. I get what they were meant to do, but they looked kinda ugly in my opinion. I also chose to make a better combination of the thick log from OV and the spike segments from UA. Posing this guy was also a big problem. It was mainly because I wanted an action pose, and the hood cover was also an issue. Moving on, in terms of powers, he can breathe underwater like most aquatic aliens. He has hydrokinesis to make certain water constructs or jets of water, and enhanced biology. He also got some sharp claws that can at least puncture most materials. Now, the hydrokinesis thing works by shooting water out of his palms like heat blast and fire. He can control the water he generates, but in terms of constructs, it's very limited. Just whips and a sword made of highly pressurized water. Think Rain from MK9. Lastly, the water he can generate is typically cold water. If he gets hot or boiling, well, you get the joke. Still though, I think I managed to improve the old drawing. That said, here's my second try at a rebooted Water Hazard. Now time to tackle the glob of living metal, Upgrade. Fun fact, because this is kinda complicated, Upgrade is made of a colony of nanites, which is why his body is so malleable. And because he's so flexible, I basically had free range with the design. Unfortunately, I didn't take my own advice originally. I wanted to fit his whole body in this time. For this upgrade, I always wanted to use the Reboot's head and legs, while the rest is the classic series color scheme, techno pattern, and arm proportions. A happy medium, if you ask me. This time, I'm making an action pose where you can see his legs. One little detail I did want to add and elaborate on was Upgrade's voice. In the original series, Upgrade talked with Ben's voice as if it was a recording. The reason for this is that his species, Galmanic Mechamorphs, can't enhance living beings, and the Omnitrix can't merge organic with inorganic DNA, which makes Upgrade an incomplete transformation. In terms of powers, he can encase any form of advanced technology, so no simple workout gear, and enhance it with new features. But this is only limited to machines and technology, no living tissue. He's also got a cool laser he can shoot through his eye. It's kinda out of left field, but come on, lasers have always been awesome. He's also pretty malleable given his body is a nanite colony, and while people have a problem with Ben's plethora of electric aliens, I don't see Upgrade as one. I just wanted to get this off my chest because I think it's an unfair grouping. Back on track though, in terms of weaknesses, he's practically useless anywhere there isn't technology, like the forest or an asteroid. Since he's made of living metal, Upgrade's highly subjected to electrical attacks, and magnets can immobilize him to some extent. If he does encounter a sapient machine, for example Slick's Vigma or Rojo from the classic series, the merger can be fought off. Additionally, While members of his species can morph their bodies into other pieces of technology, see ship, Upgrade cannot due to the Omnitrix failing to fully merge the DNA with Ben. That said, I present to you my design for a rebooted Upgrade. Last, but certainly not least, is the Red Goliath forearms. Originally, I tried to give forearms clothes that resembled his Omniverse look mixed with the classic series, and a sprinkle of UA/Heroes United. I still wanted a mix of the gloves from the classic series and UAF's golden bracers. As for the lower body, I still liked the design from Heroes United where he had black tights, mixed with the shin guards. With my design, the Omnitrix is located on his belt, like in Omniverse, mainly because I wanted you to see it was Ben. In terms of the shirt, I originally tried to make it resemble the classic series, but I added more black, making it feel like the white is for the underarms. Another element I chose to add was golden shoulder pads. Not only were shoulder pads common in canon, but fan designs also did this a lot. No complaints from me though. Also bringing this up late because I forgot about it, but I also chose to give most aliens unique eye colors. It's a detail I really liked from the classic series, and then Alien Force onward made each one have green eyes. Now, green eyes for some transformations do work, like Accelerate and the Halloween Trio. But when everyone has it, it's kinda repetitive and redundant, even if the intent was to make it more uniform. Now for the pose, what's better than the original transformation pose? Should have done this one from the start, honestly. As for abilities, he's got super strength, durability, leaping tall buildings in a single bound, fire heat resistance, wrestling abilities, some acrobatic capabilities, and can thunderclap like the Hulk. He's pretty much a generic strong alien, that's why his powers aren't anything special. Although a fun fact about his species, the women are physically stronger than the guys. Take that info for what you will. In terms of weaknesses, his size makes maneuverability a hassle, depending on the environment. Due to his size, he's also more often than not slower than his opponent and is a large target. Electricity and other energy attacks can also knock him off his can if he's not careful. And aside from that, there's really not much I can go off of for a retake on forearms. I was pretty happy with the idea, I just wanted to fully flesh it out this time. With that said, I present to you my second design for a rebooted forearms. And that does it for my rework aliens for this video. I'll have a look at the playlist to see if there are any other aliens I think could have been done a little bit better. I know one is slated for this eventually, but, that's for a later time. Again, I didn't change any of the aliens themselves, just how they looked. Let me know what you guys think of these reworked versions in the comments. Aside from that, thank you so very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, Goons, remember, reach for the stars.
'Cause I've been living life right like I